main match, the Chicago Blackhawks are on the warpath. They're way out west visiting the Los Angeles Kings. Plus, a full NHL roundup featuring a whole bunch of Stanley Cup contenders, including Detroit's game at Montreal. And in the news, Brett Hull and Dennis Potvin. That's coming up, but first, today's game features two NHL greats, Jeremy Roenick and the supremely gifted Wayne Gretzky. Well, Chicago are closing the gap on Detroit at the top of the Norris division. They're now just 5 points behind, although they've played 3 games more than the Red Wings. The Kings are in the pack in the Smythe division, and they're by no means certain of qualifying for the playoffs. An important game this for the Kings, but they've got to find a way past Chicago's hot goalie, Ed Belfour. Let's join our commentary team for the start of the match.
Ed Belfour gets his start, 34th appearance. Played brilliantly in a loss against Vancouver at 39 shots. Save percentage up around 90%, 8.95 with 4 shutouts. And Kelly Rudy, the veteran netminder, his 34th appearance as well. He has 11 wins, 9 losses, and 10 ties. And a 3.5 goals against average and a save percentage of .890.
Kerry Frazier will be the referee tonight, and the linesman Ryan Bozak and Jay Shares. And Kerry Frazier has gone to the helmet recently to try to avoid any injury. He didn't wear one for quite a few years as an official.
Hawkeye Tom Webster behind the bench, coming back off his 12-game suspension for javelin throwing.
How about the history of the Los Angeles Kings? This is Tommy Webster's 3rd year behind the bench in Los Angeles. He's already 3rd in the history of this team with 99 victories. Only 2 coaches have had more wins than Tom Webster, and this is the middle of his 3rd season. So he's going for his 100th Los Angeles victory tonight. And here we go as the draw is controlled by the Hawks. Chris Chelios. There's it into the Los Angeles zone. McSorley back. Marty McSorley leaves it behind the goal. Now Graham in there after it, poked it loose to the corner. Lemieux for Graham centering. Deflected away from Sutter at the last second. Here come the Kings out. And it's dumped into the Chicago end, too far for Scott Bukestad. And behind the Hawk goal it goes. Kicked loose out of there. Here's a backhander, and that deflects into the goal crease, and Belfour sweeps it out of there as Robitaille's backhander nearly trickled in. Steve Smith now. Deep in his own end, bumped by Robitaille. But he got it to Chelios, who feeds Graham on right wing, and he got it to center and Lemieux. Pushing it into Los Angeles ice. McSorley on it. Artie McSorley a long feed to center, and the Kings dump it into the Hog zone. Brian Marchment there. Banks it off the boards and out. And now Huddy veered it to the far side. Larmer able to hold it into Roenick. He walks to the deep slot, then put it to Goulet, looking for Larmer, and the pass too far for him. Marchment holds it in with a backhander, and Rudy stopped it. Rebound to the far corner, Goulet. Knocked off his stick to Kurri. Yari Kurri feeds Wayne Gretzky. Chipped it over the line, a bouncing puck, and Granato was tied up nicely by Kuchera to the corner. Jeremy Roenick has it there, and the Hawks start back. Steve Larmer works his way to the LA line, trying to get around a check, and Charlie Huddy got a piece of him. And finally, Brian Benning controls for the Kings. His pass deflecting to center. Bouncing around there, and Huddy got tied up along the boards. Now Steve Smith hammers it in. On the near side, Brent Sutter kicks it for Tonelli. Got it to the line. Chelios put it to Smith. No alley to shoot it. Had to flip it in behind the goal. And now a bouncing puck. Rob Brown couldn't find it. The Kings do. And then they fail to clear it. Rob Brown on the far side for Sutter. Brent Sutter's pass deflecting to Brown to his backhand shoot. That's blocked at the LA defense. Into the corner now. Here's Sutter digging it out. Brent Sutter leads it there. The Kings look to clear, and they fire it down the length of the ice. And it'll be an icing call against Los Angeles. Ryan Bozak gets him ready. And the draw comes to the line in Marchment with a long shot that deflects wide. Dave Taylor in his 1,002nd game cleared it to center. Kings dump it in from there. right, Gilbert on the far side. Chipped it ahead, and now Kuchera got to center before being knocked down. Still tried to feed Graham. The pass deflects, and Thompson at the Los Angeles defense. Brent Thompson, but the offside whistle sounds. Now Thompson gave a little bump to Marchment well after the whistle, but no further development.
Please check your ticket stubs at this time if you're seated in section 33, row 14.
Marchment is to play with that protective shield because of the fractured cheekbone that was fixed with an implant in his cheek. He's been not shy, considering he's had to protect that face.
Section 33, row 14, C10.
Now the draw in the LA zone to the line. Steve Smith flipped it around the boards. That deflects it. Now the Kings start back. There's a chance over the line. And a good defensive play by Chelios as he picked the pocket of Jim Thompson. Chelios to the left wing boards. Peluso got a rough ride for McSorley. Now Lemieux in there after it. Heard it behind the Hawk net. Taken by Chris Chelios. Ahead to Jocelyn Lemieux, who sends it into Los Angeles ice. Rudy to the corner. Sweeps it over to the far side, and John McIntyre. McIntyre, one of the youngest Kings, unable to clear it. Tied up to the corner by Roenick. And McSorley there to help. Artie McSorley a long pass, missing Kudelski, sliding the length. The race is on, and Marchment will get there first. For an icing call against Los Angeles.
I don't think there are as many Chicago fans here as there are Los Angeles fans. It took us an hour to get up to the booth, all the people that we recognize from Chicago.
And they'll be very noticeable if the Hawks take the lead, as I was having such an easy time saying before the game. The King fans have been giving this team a tough time. There are great expectations here, and this team well behind where everybody expected they would be. Kings had over 100 points last season, and right now with 30 games to play, they have 49. In the neutral zone, Steve Smith gave it to Jeremy Roenick. Roenick's pass deflects into the LA zone. Tim Waters back for it. Cleared it to the far side. Roenick is there, jammed it loose to Larmer. The shot. Rudy stopped it. Rebound to the Kings. Luke Robitaille up the left side. Works it over the Hawk line. He was stopped there, and Blake in center ice. Had it knocked away. 2-on-1 for the Hawks. Goulet over the line with Roenick. Goulet cuts in to his backhand. Centered it. Deflected over the stick of Roenick. Now Roenick on the far board. Into the corner, Larmer for Goulet. The pass didn't get there. And now Kudelski flips it back to the center ice area. And the Kings able to clear it into Chicago ice, taken by Steve Smith. Smith against his former teammate Gretzky, clearing it around the board. On the near side, Rob Brown able to tie up his man. Then Marchment gathers it in, fires it around the boards, and Tonelli deflects it into the Los Angeles zone. Rudy shot it to center, and Gretzky just getting to the red line in time to get that puck to the Hawk line. Now Sutter feeding into the LA zone. Tonelli fights off a check to the corner. Tonelli's alone there. Turns to the side of the net. Centered one. It hits a leg to the near side. Marchment trying to hold it in. Got help from Rob Brown. Now Kurri came to steal it. Clearing it to center, and Gretzky nowhere to go with it. Good coverage by Kuchera. Carried on though by Kurri. Beating Gretzky over the line. Back to Kurri. He had his stick tied up nicely by Sutter, who knocked him down. Van Thaler for a penalty, but the play goes on. Here's McSorley, a long shot. Belfort out to challenge and made the save. And the Hawks come away. Brown on right wing over the line. Tied up and taken off the puck by Brent Thompson. And now Jari Kurri leads McSorley to center. One-hand pass over the Hawk line to Donnelly. Donnelly centered it. Belfort able to sweep it aside. Back comes Chicago. Here's Gilbert beating Graham. Back to Gilbert. He shoots, and he hit the side of the goal. Rebound to Brent Thompson at the LA defense. Sends it around the boards, and Mike Donnelly shot it to the Chicago line. Hudson there. Puts it back into King ice. Luke Robitaille Works his way over the Chicago line. A long wrist shot missing the net. Rebounding to the far side. Here's a shot sailing wide from Karjalainen. Now a bouncing puck controlled by Steve Smith. Put it over to the far corner. Stolen there by the King. And behind the net, here's a wraparound and rolled through the goal crease as Robitaille attempting a wraparound. Had it roll off the end of his stick. And Roenick moves to the LA line. He avoided a check as Waters really took a run at Jeremy Roenick, who just stepped aside at the last second. Now Cam Russell over the line. Left it for Larmer. Poke checked away. Bjugstad feeding into the Chicago zone. Robitaille trying to buy some time. Put it to Gretzky. Here's the shot. And a save. Rebound. And a good play defensively. Now a drive. Belfour. Got a piece of that drive from Benning with his glove. Huddy keeping it in. Charlie Huddy trying to center when Buskus picks it off. And flipped it out to center where Larmer gets it into the Los Angeles end.
Great save by Belfour on Benning, and a good save prior to that on Gretzky, who's been reluctant to shoot this year.
And the Hawks clear it into the LA zone. There's going to be an icing call against Chicago.
Well, the best hit of the first period, and maybe the first hit of the first period. Rob Blake, the excellent young defenseman of the Los Angeles Kings, get the shoulder into Hudson, who had his head down, and Hudson goes to the ice, but no penalty. And Hudson doesn't retaliate. He takes the hit and moves on, which is very wise on the road trip like this.
Here's Brian Marchment. Taking it into the King zone. Brent Thompson bouncing it back to center, and Hawks dump it right back in there. McSorley around the boards for Robitaille. Able to send it ahead. Here come the Kings. Scott Bjugstad over the Hawk line. Shoots one right on, and a save by Belfour, and he gives no rebound.
Scott Bjugstad had a brilliant rookie season with the Minnesota North Stars and struggled since then, and up and down with the LA Kings, but he does have a great shot. Bjugstad breaks down the left side, gets inside the line. The Kings reluctant to get in deep to take the shots. They seem to be wanting to shoot from the blue line. One time, one-on-one situation for Granato, and he wound up just as he crossed the red line, like he was going to shoot from the neutral zone. They seem to be reluctant to go one-on-one and try to beat a man, to go around a guy and give it that extra effort to try and score, and maybe that's why their offense is down.
Montreal has beaten Detroit 4-3 in overtime. So the Red Wings lose again. Detroit now has 3 wins in their last 11 games. And
when you post that score in the locker room after the first period for the Blackhawks, because if they win this, they're only 3 points back of the Red Wings. So the Red Wings will have 3 games in hand after tonight's game, but so they'll have to win those games, and the Red Wings are due for a long trip of their own.
there's Rob Brown hustling to save icing, and now McIntyre able to get it back for Los Angeles, clearing it out to center. Jeremy Roenick stick handling beautifully, gets it back over the King line for Brown on the near point. Shot it around the board. Hudson to the corner against McIntyre, and McIntyre jammed it loose. And now Smith had it knocked off his stick. The Hawks regroup as Chelios shoots it back in there.
Chelios trying to fake Rudy out like he was going to dump it around the near boards or this side, and shot it towards the net. Rudy read it all the way.
Chris Chelios gave it to Steve Smith. Flipped it to center. Taken there by Tonelli. John Tonelli to the line. Rolled it to center far corner. Brent Sutter gets help from Larmer. Larmer on the far side, dropped it to the line. A long shot from Russell, stopped by Rudy. Rebound to the corner. Taken now by Larmer. Centered one, just eluding the intended receiver, Tonelli. Now back at center ice. Brent Sutter's dumping is stopped. Blake the other way. Rob Blake with a long shot. That is deflected wide by Buskus. And the Hawks clear it to the neutral zone. Blake dumping it back in. Buskus feeding Lemieux. Out to center looking for Graham. Gets over the LA line. Graham put it in behind. Now Gilbert. There's going to be a penalty coming up against the Kings, I believe, and it took almost 15 minutes to get the first penalty in the hockey game.
Blackhawk power play is going to go to work for the first time tonight. The first penalty of the game, a penalty on Granato for a holding as he held Jocelyn Lemieux. Granato, that shouldn't have been a penalty either. It should be no penalties in the first 15 minutes. The holding call, and the Blackhawks will go to the power play. Any negative on this trip has been their power play. They scored 2 big power play goals against Edmonton, but they had a chance to maybe get a point or 2 in Vancouver with their power play, and their power play really was not very good at all.
And the King penalty killing has been terrific. They're at 82% all year. They've killed off 20 in a row. They haven't allowed a power play goal in 6 games. There's a centering pass, and the Hawks nearly broke that streak as Roenick had a chance. Now Smith, the long drive, missed the net. Roenick back of the goal. Jeremy Roenick alone to the near corner, gave it to Smith. Over to Chelios, top of the ring. Chelios spinning, got away from it, check, centered it, tipped, and it didn't get through as Rob Brown deflecting. Now a shot, deflecting inches wide as Chelios was right on the doorstep. Into the far corner it goes. Roenick cleared it to the near side. Rob Brown put it to the corner. Goulet took a bump, jamming it loose to Brown, whose pass is picked off, and the Kings able to clear it.
Now the Blackhawks wanted a great chance prior to that. Roenick had Brown in front. Little 2-foot pass, and Brown would have had a great chance, but Roenick elected to go to the point instead.
Hawks dump it in. On the far side, Kudelski dumps it out. A minute to go on the Chicago power play. Steve Smith sends Larmer to center. He gets the line, got around and checked to the corner. Larmer trying to center one. Huddy picked it off. Comes free to the near board. Marchman is there. Got it into the corner. Then Marchman paid the price. He took a big hit. Now he's able to hold it in. Marchman for Larmer on the near side. It hopped away from him. And John McIntyre, who delivered that big hit on Marchman, clears it. One more rush on the Chicago power play. Dirk Graham works it over the line. Graham dropped it back to Marchman. His long shot and a save by Rudy. Good save through a screen provided by Tonelli. Tonelli to the far corner. Put it in behind to Graham. He's wrapped up along the boards. McSorley put it to the line. Kuchera held it in. The King penalty is over. Los Angeles has killed off 21 in a row. And now Wayne Gretzky cleared it to center. Gary Kurri lost it there. Roenick tries to move back the other way. He was stopped. And now Benning to Gretzky, who cranks a long shot. Belfour stopped it easily. Los Angeles has 10 shots on goal. I think at least 5 have come from the blue line or beyond. Here's Robitaille. He couldn't find it at his feet. Steve Smith does. And Chelios then feeds Lemieux. 3 minutes left in the period. Lemieux gets the line, deflecting in front to Lauer. A shot, didn't get much on it. Blocker saved by Rudy. Rebounding into the far corner. Lemieux jammed it out of there. All to a wide open Chelios, faking, centered, and Lauer tipped it toward the goal mouth. And he was trying to stop that puck and shoot it, but he inadvertently deflected it. Now Taylor and Lauer have a shoving confrontation, and there's a problem developing behind the King net. Everybody piling up in there. A lot of pushing and shoving and a few elbows being exchanged.
Coming well after the whistle. Taylor and Lauer both. Now it's Lemieux and Huddy having words. It looked like one of their bigger players started the swing, and Robitaille is involved as well, but probably offsetting minor penalties, I would imagine, to Lauer and Taylor.
2 minutes each for roughing.
Excellent forechecking by Lemieux. Great pass from Lemieux to the point on the backhand to Chelios, who fakes, slips over to Lauer. Lauer tried to stop it and shoot it, but it went off the heel of a stick into Rudy, his former teammate with the Islanders. And then well after the whistle, with seemed a harmless looking play, both Taylor and Lauer got into a shoving match. So did the rest of the players. It results in only 2 penalties though for roughing to Lauer and Taylor at 17:32.
Face-off will be to the left of Kelly Rudy. Here's the draw taken by Rob Blake. Had trouble with Larmer behind the net. Then the Kings able to clear it back to the Chicago line. And now a steal by Millen along the boards. And Smith, who had given it away, managed to wrap him up. And the puck came loose in front. Here's a chance. And Karjalainen shot blocked nicely by Chelios. Hawks clear it back into the Los Angeles zone. Rob Blake is back. And then he'll have to play it around the boards to Karjalainen. And he shot it out to center ice. Now Smith deep in his own end. Cleared it to the left wing boards. Antonelli kicks it loose to Hudson. Mike Hudson bouncing it into the Los Angeles zone. Karjalainen flipped it back to center. And then the Kings make a bad pass. Karjalainen into his own end against Hudson in the corner. And Brent Thompson picks it up for Los Angeles. He just fires it around the boards and out. It's going to be an icing call against the Kings with a minute and a half remaining in the period. As of about 3 days ago, Brian Lewis, the director of officiating in the National Hockey League, provided us with these numbers of what's been happening with video replay so far. It's been used 86 times. Most of the times it's been called into use because the question was whether the puck was across the goal line. That's happened 41 times. The next highest number of occasions was it directed in with a hand or foot 24 times. There's been only 4 times that the question was the puck in the net before time expired. And as he mentioned to us that most of the times it's the officials on the ice who are asking for a video replay. They've asked 73 times for the video to be put to use, and only 13 times have the video replay officials called down to the ice and said we need to take a second look. There's only one rink in the league that has not been involved in a video replay situation yet. That's the place we were not long ago, the Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton. Every other rink it's been put to use at least once. There's the draw, bouncing in center. Here's a chance for the Kings. Millen centered one. The pass was behind Gretzky. Millen and Gretzky in a quickly developing 2-on-1, but Corey Millen's pass not a very good one, and the Hawks dodge a bullet. Goulet the other way, shooting it in there. Coming to the near side, Brown kicks it loose to the corner. Goulet got a rough ride there from Brent Thompson. Now chopped loose, and McSorley able to flip it to center ice. Hawks dumping it back in as they head for a change, and Brent Thompson carrying it back into the Chicago zone. Steve Smith back, flipped it to center. Now Kudelski dumps it in. Taken by Kuchera. To Tonelli. His pass over the stick of Larmer and winds up back in Chicago ice. Smith clearing it to the near side, and Brent Sutter comes away. Sutter shoots it in. Robitaille fires it around the boards. Smith had it knocked off his stick. It's cleared to center, and the Kings are going to run out of time. Robitaille long shot, but the horn has gone, and the first period comes to an end. Neither team able to score in the first 20 minutes. So with no scoring, the Kings had 10 shots on goal, but as we mentioned, probably close to half of those shots were not difficult chances at all for Ed Belfour. Kings electing to shoot from long range quite a few times, so they had a total of 10 shots, and Chicago with 8 shots in the opening 20 minutes of play. And we're through one in the Great Western Forum. The Hawks and the Kings scoreless. It into the Los Angeles zone. McSorley turns and his dump out deflects over the glass and into the crowd. So McSorley is 28 years old, and that's about standard procedure for many of these Los Angeles players. This team getting a little bit long in the tooth, and the future, if it's not now, it's very soon for this club.
Not very many guys under 25 years old. Look at Rob Blake, he's 22. Backup goaltender Gilmore is 24, and after that everyone's in the high 20s and low 30s. This is an old team.
And
well, a young team as far as I'm concerned, or you're concerned, but a veteran team, I should say.
that's an experience. Great. Now here's the draw. Taken by Steve Smith. Gave it to Chris Chelios. Chelios playing in front of his dad tonight, up from San Diego. Now it's dumped into the Kings zone. Lauer got a rough ride from Blake in the corner. And over to the far side, Robitaille puts it back into Chicago ice. Sutter going back, has to get some help from Belfour, who sweeps it around the near side. And Lauer unable to clear it. Now Robitaille center one, picked out of midair. Chelios, great play. And then back to center comes Graham. McSorley runs right at him, seeing a 1-against-2 rush. Good play by McSorley. And that Hawk rush is thwarted, and now Kuchera's attempt to feed one ahead deflects over the glass into the crowd. Talking about the Los Angeles Kings, Dale, and their the fact that they're getting a little bit long in the tooth. The Wayne Gretzky trade, of course, was one in which many of the first-round draft picks of the Kings went to Edmonton in that deal. In the last 4 years, the Kings have had one first-round pick basically that's still with them. Last year's pick went to Edmonton. The year before that, they picked up Darryl Sedor, a defenseman who's not playing tonight. The year before that, the pick went to Edmonton. The year before that, they drafted Martin Gelinas, who was in part of that Gretzky deal. So in the last 4 seasons, they have one man who's still here. Here's Roenick over the line, pulled down, and a penalty will be called against the Kings.
Tony Granato gets his second penalty of the night, but he had to. Great burst of speed from Jeremy Roenick. He has a chance to split the defenseman. Had a chance to go wide on Huddy. Huddy already dove, but just as he was ready to make the move, Granato hooked him down from behind. Penalty coming at 1:12, and the Blackhawks will get their second power play. Only the 4th penalty of the night. Roenick with 13 power play goals.
And he's in for the draw against McIntyre, which goes over to the far side. Smith with a long flip shot. Rudy nearly gave a rebound. He tried to kick that sharply to the near side and didn't connect. Fortunately for Rudy, and puck laying right at his feet, he was able to smother it.
Goulet getting a piece of that shot. That's so important to get the puck through. It doesn't have to come at 100 miles an hour. Hawks win the draw. Brown off the board. Smith just feathers one to the net. Deflects off the shaft of Goulet into Rudy, and Rudy covers up nicely to force another faceoff.
Now the face-off in the King zone, cleared around the near side. Chelios keeping it in, put it in behind the goal. McSorley hacked at it, didn't connect. Now they battle on the near board. And Goulet trying to hold it in, but it's stolen finally, and Tim Waters there's it down all the way. Steve Smith unchallenged as he comes to center ice, gave it to Rob Brown. Brown gets the line, then it's knocked away by Donnelly. Smith able to hold it in. They wrestle along the boards, and Waters and a hack away at it. Hawks dig it out to Chelios, tees it up, takes a look, now decides better of it, comes to the near board with it. Gave it to Roenick, back to the far point. Smith a long shot by sailing up off the glass. Coming to the near side, Roenick trying to center one, it's picked off, and the Kings now work it back to center. Here's Millen with Chelios trying to catch him. Millen over the line, cuts into the slot, shooting. Belfour got a great save by it. Belfour as Corey Millen really turned on the Jets. Now the Hawks start back. Brown tied up by Blake, and he pushed it in behind the goal. Roenick comes up with it, walks into the slot, shooting. That's blocked in front of the net. Then Roenick held it in, but the Kings cleared away. And Robitaille races into the Hawk zone. Chelios able to cut him off there. Robitaille jammed it loose. There's a shot and a save by Belfour on Kudelski, and the Hawks able to clear it back into the King zone. It'll be an icing call against Chicago, and a good penalty-killing effort here from the Kings, who are 10 seconds away from killing their 22nd in a row.
Corey Millen was a good acquisition from the Rangers. They traded a defensive-oriented player in Randy Gillen, who's primarily used as a face-off man and a specialist defensively. Millen, former U.S. Olympian with a good burst of speed. He's a little guy, but he's got good skills offensively. He goes around Chelios. Chelios angles him off, and that shot just hit Belfour in the shoulder as he went down. I don't think he saw it. 22 in a row, and the save here, Kudelski, another good save. A low shot that Belfour handled with ease with the left pad. Kings have only 6 shorthanded goals this year, but they get 2 quality chances in this power play. Shorthanded situation with only 10 seconds left on Granato's hooking penalty. Our power play continues to stumble.
Cam Russell fades Frantisek Kuchera. Got to the line. He was stopped there, and then the offside whistle blows anyway. As the King penalty is over, both teams are back at full strength, and we still have no score. Off the draw, pile up in the corner, and they're on top of the puck, so the whistle sounds. The Kings, you mentioned last year, had over 100 points. One of the reasons for their lack of success this season, look at goals for and goals against. Last year, after 50 games, the same number they've played this year, they've scored 26 fewer goals. They've allowed 32 more. Well, that's too big a discrepancy to overcome in terms of the overall record. So they're minus 58 overall in terms of goals for and goals against. 26 fewer they've scored, 32 more they've allowed. Now here's Robitaille weaving over the line, and the Kings well offside of the play as Blake, trying to create some offense, moved in ahead of the play.
Luc Robitaille, every other year he scores 50 goals. When he has a bad year, he scores in the 40s, 45, 53, 46, 52, 45. So he was due to get a 50-goal season, but he got off to a roaring start, Robitaille did, but only 23 goals right now, second on the team behind Granato. And if he's going to score 50, he better get on a tear in a hurry with 30 games remaining.
Charlie Huddy, dump and deflects over the glass into the crowd. Charlie Huddy is 32 years old. Came here from the Minnesota North Stars for basically he was in Minnesota long enough for a cup of coffee. The Oilers traded him to Minnesota, and then he was picked up by the Kings. Part of the deal that sent Todd Ellick to the North Stars. Here's Steve Smith. Clearing it up the boards and out to center. Karjalainen whipped it to the far side, and that rush broken up by Goulet, putting it back to King ice. Huddy pass nearly picked off by Goulet, but Karjalainen comes away to Millen over the line. Millen chipped it to the open side as Donnelly had cut to the middle, and Millen thought he was going the other way. Huddy, nowhere to go with it, just bounces it back into the Chicago zone. Russell goes back for it. Tied up by Karjalainen in the near corner. And now Millen lurking, trying to dig it out of there. Then Sutter did. We're halfway through this hockey game. Nobody has scored yet. And the scoring chances have been not quite rare, but there certainly have not been a large number of them. There's Steve Smith dumping it in. McSorley sweeps it around the boards. Gretzky stopped by Chelios at center. Tonelli rolled it ahead, and then Gretzky the other way, feeding to Granato on right wing over the line. Tony Granato over, shot and a save by Belfour, and he gives no rebound. 9.5 left in the middle period. Chicago nothing and Los Angeles nothing. The Hawks doing a wise thing by using him in spot duty for a large part of the season. He has had a lot of ice time tonight, but he's been around a long time, and I would imagine he'll figure in the plans more prominently down the stretch of the season. Here's Larmer moving in, had a poke checked, and then Hudson rolled it just wide. Roenick on the far side. To the line, Chelios. His flip shot is blocked and cleared to the neutral zone. Taken by Bugstad. His pass is deflected, and Robitaille shot it in. Chelios back.
Good read that time by Russell to challenge high up in the neutral zone instead of backing off. The Hawks doing that very successfully here in the second period, challenging.
8 minutes remaining in the period. Still no score here in the Great Western Forum as the Kings clear it to center, and a whistle well off the play.
Too many men on the ice, a poor change. The linesman makes the call at 12:07, and the Kings will get their first power play. So it took an error for the Blackhawks as far as the change is concerned to create the first power play.
What a surprising number we just showed you. 18th in the league in power play percentage for Los Angeles, and that's a very surprising total. But lately they've been coming on 5 of the last 15 on their power play opportunities. Here's the draw to Steve Smith. He gets over the line, shoots one. Rudy stopped it. Now Benning flipped it to center. Corey Millen. It's stopped nicely by Sutter at the Hawk line. He clears it the other way. 44 power play goals for Los Angeles in 50 games. Here's Millen to the Hawk line. Took a hit to make a play to Gretzky. Center Blake. And a save by Belfour. A great passing rush from the Kings. And Corey Millen did an excellent job to keep it alive.
What a trade for the Kings. They get an explosive little player in Corey Millen. He's been their top player tonight offensively. Puck kicked at by Gretzky. Millen takes off. 1-on-2 situation. Keeps his balance. Dumps it over to the great one, back to Blake, and Blake just fires it right into Belfour. Belfour with a good save, and again no rebound. Corey Millen has been their most explosive player, and it's results in the pass to Gretzky, in turn gives it to Blake. Blake had a good year last year with 12 goals and 34 points. This year with some injury time, and he's had difficulty offensively, though he's been a force defensively. Second year always seems to be the toughest year for a young mobile defenseman.
And I think the trade that brought Jari Kurri here has proven to be costly to Rob Blake. He is really expected to carry the load offensively from his blue line position. And without Steve Duchesne here, it's really been an extra burden on Blake, and that also may help to explain some of the sophomore difficulties. Now the draw in the Hawk zone taken by Hudson, clearing it out to center and Brown. Rob Brown over the King line, tied up along the board. Blake kicked it loose. Here comes Millen back. Corey Millen into the Hawk zone for Gretzky near side. On the center one picked off that Chelios couldn't clear. Robitaille shot. He shot it wide with a turnaround effort, and Rob Brown cleared.
Rob Brown had a chance, but just took too long in making up his mind with the pass. And the result, Blake with a good defensive play to counter the Kings up the ice with Millen again.
Millen dumping this one in. Chelios to the corner, clears not out. Blake kicks it along the board. Graham works for it against Robitaille. Kicked into the corner. Gretzky's there. Looking for Blake. He chopped it loose. The Hawks clear it down the length of the ice. Rudy to the corner. Just got it away from Graham. The Kings with half a minute left on their power play to McSorley over the line to Kurri, back to McSorley, turning behind the net. Got a rough ride from Smith, who took him off the puck, steals it, and then couldn't clear it. Into the near corner it goes. And the Hawks unable to get it out. Kurri held it into the corner. Now Gretzky far side. Wayne Gretzky top of the ring. Put it to the side of the net. Robitaille center. Tip! They score! What a goal by Jari Kurri! The puck well up off the ice, and Jari Kurri able to make contact and bunt it just over the outstretched glove of Ed Belfour. The 493rd goal of his career for Kurri, and what a goal it was.
Well, Steve Smith goes at Gretzky. He stops and then decides to go, so it's a 2-on-1 situation in front. Kuchera slides across too late, flipped over Kuchera out of midair by Jari Kurri, up and over Belfour. Looked like Belfour might get it in midair, but it just missed him. Smith leaves, and Kuchera slides across, and Kurri out of midair, up over the shoulder, and Belfour just missed catching it as it was over his shoulder and into the net.
Well, bunting may be a lost art for many Major League Baseball players, but Jari Kurri, with a brilliant hand-eye coordination there, not only to make contact, but he knew exactly what he was trying to do. He just tried to lift the puck gently over the glove of Belfour, and he did it. Robitaille and Gretzky get the assists on Kurri's power play goal at 14:06. Now the Hawks moving into the King zone. Tonelli put it into the corner. And now it's kicked loose along the near side. Tonelli's there. Got it in behind to Brown. Brown with a wraparound, and it's stopped by Rudy and then cleared back to center ice. Kudelski into the Hawk zone. Tied up by Chelios nicely, and Marchment tries to start Chicago back. He's hounded. He coughed it up. Here comes Bukestad 2-on-1 centering. Oh, and Chelios tipped that pass just away from Kudelski, or he had Belfour to himself. There's Brian Benning back in his own zone. Clearing to center, and Dave Taylor gets to the Hawk line. Poke check to Donnelly, and he ripped one wide. Now a shot deflecting in front. Oh, and Donnelly had an open side. Couldn't connect with a bouncing puck. Or that was Millen, rather. Now Millen centering, picked off by Greg Gilbert. And Gilbert shoots it back into the LA zone. Now Huddy got it to Donnelly. He bounced it out to center. And a penalty behind the play. The Hawks will be shorthanded now, as the Kings have just scored, and now they'll go to the power play as Lemieux goes off.
Shot by Donnelly just off the end boards. Comes right out off the boards to Taylor, who cranks it up. Off the skate of Marchment right to Millen. Millen all alone, but just couldn't catch up with it. The right-handed shot. Puck was too far in front of him, and he couldn't locate it before Belfour was able to recover. Meanwhile, Jocelyn Lemieux in a back-checking role. Got the stick up too hard on a Kings player, and a slashing penalty at 15:27. The too many men on the ice penalty results in a power play goal, the lone goal of the game, and now the Kings back to the power play, as we might have expected, with the Hawks having the first 3 power plays in the game.
Luke Robitaille carrying it into the Hawk zone. He was short of center. The race is on. Marchment wanted to hammer it around the boards, and fortunately did touch it first. He had his stick tied up, so icing is called. And Gretzky arguing about that. But Brent Sutter and Brad Lauer on for the Hawk penalty killing unit, along with Smith and Kuchera. And here's the draw back into the Hawk zone. Belfour well out of the net, then leaves it there as Kuchera reaches it first, then lost the handle. Now a steal by Lauer, then he failed to get it out. Sutter with a chance, clearing. Rob Blake back for the King. Blake clearing to center, and Gretzky gets over the Hawk line, stopping, trying to center one, goes through to the far side. Robitaille shoots one, and Belfour stopped it. Rebound Kuchera. Trying to clear it. He hit referee Frazier, and now Lauer works the boards. Couldn't get it out. Blake in the deep slot, centering, tip off the goal post. Robitaille with a neat deflection, hit the near post and came out. And back comes Chris Chelios. Or Smith, rather. Steve Smith turning at center and then clears it down all the way.
You're looking at that from the reverse angle that time, weren't you?
Now the Kings, Gretzky gets the line on Marchment, dropped it back to Benning. He put it into the far corner, then out to the line. Benning tries to center, picked off, good read by Larmer, and the Hawks might have a 3-on-2 if they hurry. Here's Larmer over the line. The trailer is Chelios. He cuts up the slot to his backhand, shoots, and a save by Rudy. Rebound to the Kings, and an errant pass missing Granato, or they were off to the races. Hawks clear it the other way. Tony Granato up the right wing board. Gets the line, leaving for Kurri. Gary Kurri on the near board. Trying to center one. A bouncing puck controlled by Graham, and he flipped it to the neutral zone, and the Hawk penalty is over. Both teams are back at full strength. Here's Chelios with some room to the LA line. Chelios now a little pushing and shoving in front of the Hawk bench as Granato and Lemieux have words, and Kerry Fraser's seen enough of that. So Lemieux, having just left the box, will go back in there along with Granato this time.
Lemieux making a beeline across the ice straight from the penalty box to his bench. Granato get into a shoving match, so right out of the box, right back to the box for Lemieux. A good penalty killing situation developed there for the Blackhawks. They get a couple of chances short-handed. Just Chelios with Kelly Rudy making a save on a Chelios attempt. Chelios getting a lot of ice time, and he's been skating from end to end and getting involved with the offensive scheme of things, and also defensively very valuable. Kelly Rudy just gets his right toe on that backhand shot. And meanwhile, the Blackhawks get a break, and they should have gotten a break because Kerry Fraser was along the boards. Hawks twice in that shift, couldn't clear. Both times they hit Fraser. Results in a deflection. Neat deflection by Robitaille off the post. The Hawks get a break.
So the Kings have the game's only goal with just over 2 minutes left in the second period. Kuchera back in his own end for Chicago. To Goulet. Puts it into LA territory. Rob Blake is back. And it's cleared out to center. Here's a 3-on-2 if the Kings hurry. Over the line, Robitaille with an errant pass, missing Kudelski. Lines up in the near corner. Bukestad lost the handle. And Kuchera. Here's it to center and Goulet. Michel Goulet lost the handle. Now Kuchera whacked it into the Los Angeles zone. Taken by Blake. Blake clearing it to the far side. Hawks able to hold it in. Here's Tonelli for Brown. He chipped it right through the goal crease. Rebound to the near side. Waters with a big hit knocked Brown down, but then Rob dug it out. Rob Brown's pass picked off, and back come Los Angeles. Robitaille to the Hawk line, stopping, threw it across, and Kudelski's shot hit Chelios. Winding up back in the Kings' end. And we're down to the final minute of the second period. 1-0 in favor of the Kings. Brent Thompson really lost the handle. It is cleared to center, and Smith puts it back in. Thompson tries again. 20-year-old rookie Brent Thompson. Second round pick in '89 for Los Angeles. He flipped it out to center. Kings take a long shot from there. Belfour was careful with it, put it to the near corner. They wrestle along the boards. And the whistle sounds a little bit more quickly this time.
Forcing the face-off with 26 seconds left. Blackhawks power play really letting them down here in this hockey game. 0 for 3. The Kings get the first goal with 1 second left on their first power play with too many men on the ice penalty for the Blackhawks. And ever since they've scored that goal, the Kings seem to be more enthusiastic. The Blackhawks, though, squandering a lot of quality chances. Whenever they seem to get a good chance, they shoot it wide or make one extra pass. Nothing happening offensively tonight. Rudy's made a couple of tough saves, but it's been an easy night for him.
Face off to the left of Belfour. The draw to Huddy, a long shot. Belfour down to stop it. Rebound taken by Larmer. Steve Larmer to Dirk Graham. Clearing to center, and Mike Hudson, who shoots it in. Jay Scherz said he was short of center, and no icing call is made against the Blackhawks with 10 seconds left in the period.
Kings winning that last face-off. Belfour with a good save through a screen. So they're going to get another chance to do it here with 10 seconds to go, which will seem like an eternity. Meanwhile, those offsetting minor penalties to Granato and Lemieux. Lemieux comes off, so does Granato. 3 minor penalties tonight for Granato. Granato with 105 minutes in penalties coming into tonight's action. 24 goals, though, leading the Kings in that department. But faceoff now moves to the other side. The Kings were successful on this side, getting the draw. Brent Sutter out on his backhand will try to win it to the corner to give the Blackhawks time to kill off the remaining 10 seconds and get out of the period down only by a goal. A game that's still up in the air.
Sutter and Millen to the right of Belfour. And Sutter did get the draw to Steve Smith. Smith gave it to Chelios, and that's going to do it for the second period. So the Kings score the only goal of the game in the middle period tonight. It was scored by Jari Kurri on the Los Angeles power play. A wonderful deflection with a waist-high puck that he just bunted right over at Belfour. Kurri from Robitaille and Gretzky at 14:06 for the game's only goal. Shots on goal in the second period, 10 for Los Angeles, 9 for Chicago. 20-17. The Kings have outshot the Hawks so far in the hockey game. And Los Angeles has the only goal. We're through 40 minutes in the Great Western Forum. Los Angeles and Robitaille. Here's the draw. Taken by Frantisek Kuchera. Gave it to Chris Chelios. Works his way to the LA line. Rolls it ahead. And it's cleared back to the neutral area. Hawks dump it in from there. Taken by Scott Bjugstad. Bjugstad gets to the checkered red line and shoots it in. Coming around to the near side. And taken now by Chelios. Chris Chelios, a long feed right on the money to Tonelli. He gets over the King line, weaving into the slot, dropped it back to Brown. It didn't connect. And the Kings start away. Here's Benning into the Chicago end. Brian Benning weaving to the near board. A long clip shot. Belfour gave a rebound. And a shot is blocked. Now controlled by Roenick. Jeremy Roenick carries it back to the neutral zone. For Marchment over the line, leaving for Roenick. Back to Marchment. It didn't click. Now Roenick behind the net. Sends it around the far side. Steve Smith held it in for a second. Then it's cleared away to the neutral zone. And the Hawks dump it in, but this is going to be an icing call against Chicago.
Brian Benning had a great chance in the first period. He carries the puck up the ice. He's been an offensive player as a defenseman for most of his career. He carries the puck up the ice and just dumps it towards the net. A great scoring chance for Los Angeles because of Blackhawks backing off. Benning drifts away, takes a look, and then puts it casually towards the net. A little wrist shot. Belfour has a deflect off of him right out front to Bjugstad, and then Jeremy Roenick was able to pick it off and carry it up the ice. But a quality chance there for Los Angeles just because of the shot by Benning. It wasn't a hard shot, but it was an accurate one, and Belfour had to deflect it.
Back into the Los Angeles zone. Ellie Rudy clearing it around the near side. Kurri and Hudson come together. And then the Kings dig it out of there. Jari Kurri chipped it to Wayne Gretzky. Clearing it back into the Hawk zone. Belfour shot it to the far side, and Chris Chelios flips it back the other way. The race is on, and Brent Thompson there to touch it first for an icing call against the Hawks.
This is Wayne Gretzky. Janet Jones Gretzky. Showing her husband's performance tonight. 1 assist for Gretzky on the lone goal at 14:06.
Now Sutter and Millen to the left of Belfour, and the draw is taken by Steve Smith. He gave it to Sutter. Back around to the far side. Goulet tipped it ahead to Smith. Nice tip ahead to Brown. Here's a 3-on-1 Hawk rush. Brown over the line looking for Sutter. It didn't get through. Rob Blake was the only man back, and Blake broke up the 3-on-1 rush.
Nice alliteration.
Thank you. And now it's center ice. Brent Sutter circles for the Hawks.
Another opportunity squandered by the Blackhawks. They're just not finishing well on their chances.
Brown gets over the King line, and it's taken away. And it's cleared out to center ice. Marchment had tried to take a run on a man, missed him. Millen a shot, ripped it wide. Onto the near side, Karjalainen lost the handle, and Jeremy Roenick races back the other way. Roenick in against Huddy. Huddy rubbed him off on the boards. Donnelly poked it loose behind the net. And Benning put it to the far side, not out. Marchment a long shot and a save by Rudy. Rebound captured by Roenick. Got away from Huddy. Shooting and a save by Rudy. And he was knocked backward almost into the net. But Kelly Rudy hangs on to keep the Hawks scoreless.
Well, Rudy makes an excellent save on Brian Marchment's screen shot from the point. A lot of people in front of him, and he showed good concentration. Left a big rebound that was picked up by Roenick. Roenick had thoughts of turning on his forehand, but Huddy slid way out in front of him, forcing him to reverse and go back the other way. Puck pried loose, hacked at by Gilbert. It comes around the boards. Marchment with the one-timer right on. Rebound out to the deep slot, picked up by Roenick. Huddy slides away, forcing Roenick to reverse to the other side, and he snapped it right on. Rudy with a good save as Gilbert was knocked from behind and sent the other defenseman crashing into Rudy. 19 saves for Kelly Rudy. Not a lot of tough saves. Best flurry for the Blackhawks in this period.
There's the draw now, controlled by McSorley. Cleared it over the Hawk line. Taylor on right wing to the corner. Dave Taylor spins there on Marchment. They work in the corner. Kings come up with it. Robitaille to the near side. A long shot from Thompson is blocked as Brad Lauer got out there and paid the price. That shot hurt him a little bit as he limped to the Hawk bench, but Lauer did a good job to get out there. And McSorley dumps it into the Hawk zone. And if McIntyre touches it, he's offside. He does, and the whistle sounds.
Jeremy Roenick trying to get the Blackhawks a come from behind win, only the second time. If the Hawks were able to do so, 1-17-1 when trailing after 2, the Blackhawks, and their lone come from behind win was in Calgary,
which was just on Monday night, but seems like forever ago. This is the third game since then. Here's Roenick in over the line, tees it up, shooting, and Rudy got a piece of that. Rebound to the near side. Granato clears it ahead to Gretzky. He's got room into the Hawk zone. Russell trying to catch him. Gretzky shoots, and a save by Belfour. Well out of the goal crease to challenge him. And now the Hawks back the other way. Gilbert shooting it in. And on the near side, Roenick jammed it loose to Larmer in behind, trying to center it. It hits the leg. Chelios in there deep. Put it in front. And Roenick's shot is blocked. Now Gretzky coming out. Wayne Gretzky over the Hawk line into the slot. Had it knocked away. They got it back. Shooting. Belfour stopped it. Rebound taken by Russell. And Russell to Brent Sutter. Sutter over the King line. Lost the handle, and Millen then got bumped by Sutter behind the goal. Brown in there after it. Got it loose to Sutter in the near corner. Brent Sutter. Now for Goulet. Sweeping it around the far side. Kuchera. Put it behind the net. Goulet lost the handle as he attempted a wraparound. And it winds up back in Chicago ice. Hawks dumping it in. Brown into the corner. Blake didn't want to go in there first, so Brown jammed it loose. Out to the line. Here's Kuchera with a long centering pass behind Goulet. And winds up at center ice. Here's Brown back into the King zone. Stops, takes a look to the trailer off the bench. And Tonelli a shot. Shot it up high with Rudy down and out. Tonelli shot it just over top of the net. And it's cleared back into the Hawk zone.
Good passing. One by Goulet on the stick of Brown. Brown to the late coming Tonelli. Put it right on the line. And Tonelli with the right shot. Just missed shooting it into the empty net with Rudy down and out.
Steve Smith able to clear it to center. Kudelski had his pocket picked by Tonelli, then put the hook on him and Rob Blake. Clearing it to the left wing boards, and Robitaille. Luke Robitaille, long feed for Kudelski over the line. Couldn't pull the trigger, then centered it. Oh, and he had Bjugstad open but missed him. Back come the Blackhawks. Roenick to Tonelli. Into the King zone, his pass deflecting. And Busquets couldn't get to it. And Gretzky comes out. Here's a 2-on-2 rush. Gretzky over the Hawk line to the far side. Cuts in behind the net. Quick stop. He sent it in a shot. Shot wide. It may have been blocked. As Robitaille had a good chance. Coming to the near corner. Gretzky jammed it loose. Just missing Robitaille. And Dirk Graham will put it back into the Kings' end. Brent Thompson. And to set things up deep in the LA zone. And now it's cleared out to center. Los Angeles nursing a 1-0 lead as Gretzky dumps it in. Chris Chelios. This pass just missing Brent Sutter and Kurri. Bounce it to Gretzky over the line. Gretzky far side. Quick stop. Got knocked down by Russell. Nice play. And around the boards, Larmer on the right wing side. Got it to Sutter. He shoots it in there. Charlie Huddy able to avoid a check-in. And his pass didn't click. Huddy tries again back of the King goal. He looks to move ahead, but on a delayed offside call. The whistle sounds.
Not a lot of offense by either club, as indicated by the shots on goal. A lot of shots have been from long range. Not many quality chances by either club.
Here's the draw to Cam Russell. A long shot. Rudy makes the stick save. Rebound over to the far side and winds up over the glass into the crowd.
I think this is what it's going to take for this game to be won by a hockey club. Whoever wins the most faceoffs in the offensive zone, with the puck bouncing all over. That time one cleanly to Cam Russell. Roenick on the forehand gets it to Russell. Russell with a quick snapshot right on target. The puck flutters towards the net and Rudy kicks it away up into the seats. Another face off to the same position.
Now the draw in the LA zone to Russell again. His long flip shot goes wide. On the near side, Larmer put it around the boards. Kudelski chasing after it. Beaten to it by Russell. He got it to the corner, but Huddy is there. And now the Kings clear it to center. Knocks her back in, but offside, and McIntyre got a giving Chelios a face full of glove after McIntyre ran Roenick over as the whistle sounded. And the Hawks taking exception to that as Roenick gets up with apparently no damage done. And a gathering in front of the King bench, but that's all for now.
Jeremy Roenick takes it in and gets dumped from behind hard into the side boards. Chelios goes up to McIntyre, gives him a shove. McIntyre gives him a whack. Chelios gets a right in. Then all the players mill around, clutching and grabbing, but only 2 penalties to Chelios and McIntyre, offsetting minor penalties at 9:44 of the third period. The first 2 penalties of the period. Only had 3 penalties in the first and 4 penalties in the second.
In the King zone, Graham in the corner, got it in front, a bouncing puck, and maybe one pass too many as Hudson had a backhand opportunity, elected to try to pass it, and he missed Smith. Now Smith is at center. Flipped it into the King zone. Hudson racing into the corner. Center one, tipped right on, and it's saved by Rudy. Rebound cleared to the neutral zone. Gretzky rolled it ahead, and Kuchera with a great play. Oh, then Gretzky leveled by Lemieux, and that'll be a penalty. Jocelyn Lemieux sent the King player to his backside. Was that Granato? I said Gretzky. It may have been Granato instead.
Well, McSorley, I think, was in the way. McSorley and Lemieux having a battle all night long, and I think Lemieux just ran over McSorley. And could be any number of penalties, but interference, I think, will probably be the call. Oh, this penalty, McSorley trying to get out of the way. Lemieux just hammered him, sent him flying to the ice before McSorley. It's an interference call because McSorley hadn't touched the puck. Meanwhile, Hudson, the bouncing puck, gets around McSorley, hacks at it, almost fully extended at the goal line from the corner, right on target. Kelly Rudy deflects it away. The Kings counter. And McSorley flattened by Lemieux. Lemieux gets his second penalty of the night. An important penalty kill. Obviously, trailing 1-0, the Blackhawks can't fall behind. 9:41 still to go here in the third period.
The Kings are 6 out of their last 17 on the power play in a key situation in the game here. 1-0 lead for Los Angeles, and they're on the power play. Robitaille in the Hog zone, dropped it to the far point. Huddy clearing it around the boards. Gretzky, a one-time pass picked off by Smith, and then Smith knocked Gretzky down in the corner. Millen jammed it loose. Kurri Millen. His pass picked out of midair nicely by Smith, and then he couldn't get it past Huddy. Back of the net to Gretzky. Gretzky takes a look behind the goal. Slipped it in front, bouncing puck deflected away by Graham. And a penalty has been called against the Hawks. Are the Hawks going to be 2 men short again? Is that possible?
And Steve Smith is going to get a penalty for high sticking. Oh, this call here, a questionable call. And once again, this will be the 34th time this season the Blackhawks will have been 2 men short. The 35th time, and they've allowed 8 goals. So this is a critical part of the hockey game. This is a tough break. In a minute 20 seconds, they'll be 2 men short. They said this is the 35th time, which is an amazing statistic.
2 minutes, high sticking.
A high sticking call. The Blackhawks were on their way for a great shorthanded chance. Eric Graham had gotten the puck away from the defenseman who had pinched in. It would have been a 2-on-1. And Smith, who's about 6'5", I think he got the stick up on Millen, who's about 5'8".
And the Kings have taken a timeout here. Everybody recognizing the importance of this situation. A 2-man advantage for Los Angeles, looking to increase a 1-0 lead with 9 minutes left. And that indeed an awfully tough call in this situation. And the Hawks, that's an amazing, first of all, an amazing number to be 2 men short 35 times. Then to have allowed only 8 goals against, that's quite an amazing ability to kill off 2-man disadvantages.
Well, let's hope they're able to kill this one off and keep it a 1-0 hockey game, because they haven't been getting many chances, and when they do, they just seem to be not finishing or having a tough time making the right decision, either hesitating on their passes, not getting the pass through, or just shooting the puck wide. Well, obviously, this is the critical time of the game, down 1-0, and questionable call on Steve Smith, who towers over Kurri Millen, and that's penalty called on Smith because the stick caught Millen in the side of the helmet. Timing is everything, because Graham might have had a great opportunity shorthanded.
Graham, Larmer, and Kuchera out there being asked to try to weather the storm. A 1-minute and 20-second 2-man advantage for the Kings. They've got Millen, Robitaille, and Kurri on with Gretzky and Huddy has it top of the far circle. Deep slot to Gretzky. They're in a 1-2-2. Here's Gretzky, a shot. Bell for the save. Trying to cover. He does. Oh, and now a King is driven into the net. Dirk Graham leveled Millen from behind right into the goalpost. And I did not see the right arm of Frazier ever go up. I don't think there's going to be another penalty.
Well, it should be. That's for sure. The one on Smith was questionable, with this one on Graham. Gretzky, who had half a dozen shots on goal, had 4 in the first 2 periods and had 2 in the first shift, right on target. And Belfort tonight, outstanding, leaving no rebounds on all those long shots. And Millen cross-checked from behind by Gilbert, head first into the near post, and that should have been a penalty. It could have been a 5-minute penalty.
Here's the draw in the Hog zone. Millen has it on the far side to Gretzky at the line. Into the circle, and Huddy takes a look, side of the net to Robitaille. Back to the deep slot. Gretzky, they play catch. Robitaille, a shot. Belfort stopped it. Rebound to Robitaille again. Deep slot to Gretzky. Gretzky, side of the net, and Millen peeled off with it. Back to the line, and Gretzky for Kurri, and one-timer up off the glass. Sutter chasing after it. Trying to chip it past Gretzky. Unable to do it. The Kings hold it in. Charlie Huddy, he got hammered by Larmer along the boards, but he held it in. Now Gretzky in the deep slot. Gave it to Huddy. Charlie Huddy. Far circle to Wayne Gretzky. The great one put it to Huddy. Now to Kurri, a diving block of the pass by Larmer. Kings hold it in. Now Huddy, top of the circle for the shot that's blocked by the Hawks Sutter, and then Kuchera able to clear it. And the first Chicago penalty is over. And now there's a 40-second power play, a one-man advantage for Los Angeles. Here's a near giveaway. Roenick knocked down as he tried to shoot it. And now the Kings start back. Ryan Benning flipping it in. Marchman kicks it to the far side, and the Kings able to hold it in. Blake in the deep slot. Rob Blake hanging on. Put it to Gretzky on the far side. Through the box to Benning, cutting inside, and it's Belfour. Great save on a Millen deflection. On the far corner, it's held in by the Kings, and now Gretzky. Gretzky to the top of the ring, gave it a Robitaille, trying to center it, blocked by Russell. Worked in behind the net, and Robitaille looks to center, picked off. The Hawk penalty is over. Both teams at full strength. And a big penalty kill for Chicago to keep the Hawk hopes alive. Down to 7 minutes left. Both teams at full strength, and it's a 1-0 King lead. And a two-man advantage for almost a minute and a half for Los Angeles. Was thwarted by Belfour and the Hawks. Goulet unable to get out of his own end. Now Kuchera to Tonelli on the left side. He couldn't get it out. Donnelly knocked down by Tonelli. Still got it in there deep.
The Hawks looking to get a whistle so they can get Chelios back in the game.
And now here comes Busquets to center ice. He shoots it into the King zone. All the way around the boards. Here's Hudson to his backhand. Couldn't get rid of the shot. And Karjalainen put it up the near side. Taken by Donnelly. Donnelly into the Hawk zone. And put himself offside with a drop pass.
Well, sometimes a two-man advantage can be a positive for the defensive team. Great penalty killing by the Blackhawks. 1 minute and 20 seconds. They were 2 men short. Didn't allow many quality chances, and were able to killing off both penalties. And now with 6 minutes to go, they're able to get back and maybe get some momentum and tie it up.
Off the draw, the play comes to center, and here's Greg Gilbert. Gilbert into the King zone on Blake. Blake rides him into the far corner and takes it away. And he's knocked down behind the net by Hudson. Larmer picks it up, tries to center, bouncing loose in front to the Kings. And Dave Taylor works his way back into the Hawk zone. Lost the handle finally, and Steve Smith gathers it in. Smith to Gilbert on the left side. His pass broken up. Then Chelios had it, lost the handle. And Jari Kurri into the Hawk zone. Kurri tees it up, shooting. Belfour made a good save as Kurri got all of that. Now Kuchera pushed it to center. Brown feeding Sutter over the lines. Brent Sutter to his backhand, shoots one, and Rudy with a stand-up save. And then the puck off the end boards to the side of the net where Rudy covers it up.
Excellent pass by Rob Brown. Quick pass with a bouncing puck right on the money. Sutter tried to go wide and cut in on Huddy. Huddy angled him off. The backhand shot kicked away. Brown didn't even look at Sutter. He just somehow sensed he was there. Put the pass right on the money, and then Sutter tried to sneak one by Rudy, and then Huddy with his head down, leveled by Rob Brown. Rob Blake has been a physical presence all night long. He's had an excellent game, taking the body at every opportunity. That time he gets yanked down by Jeremy Roenick. Roenick getting away with that. Just under 5 minutes remaining. The Hawks looking to tie it up.
Marchman, a long shot that just missed the far post and winds up back at center ice. Here's Rob Brown. To Kuchera. Puts it into the LA end of the ice, and Brent Thompson put it over to the far side, then got it back. Thompson banks it in perfectly to Millen. 3-on-1 over the line. He cuts in, centering. Thompson pass at his feet. And Corey Millen, well, not a very good pass, or Brent Thompson would have had a glorious chance. Now the Hawks move back. Graham over the line. In on McSorley. Centered it. Didn't get to Sutter. Here's Smith holding it in. His pass deflecting, and Graham Gets to it on the far side to Sutter. Sutter poked it behind the net. Brown. Now Brown tied up by Brent Thompson, and Thompson then wants a whistle falling down on top of the puck. And he does get the whistle. Now as a shove for Brown. But nothing else develops. We're down to 4 minutes left in the third. 1-0 LA.
Rudy with only 24 saves, trying to get his 13th career shutout. 3 minutes and 58 seconds away from the shutout.
Here's the draw right to Smith, who lets it go. It deflects wide. Now Chelios bouncing one for Lemieux. Well covered though, and the Kings able to clear it to center, but it was knocked down there with a stick above the shoulder. And the whistle sounds. One of the members of our great crew here in LA, a Chicago native, Bob Spurk, wanting to say hello to both of his friends back in Chicago. This is a great crew here. We've really been well taken care of, as is usually the case in friendly Los Angeles.
There you are, and there I am napping.
Now the draw taken by the Hawks. Smith cleared it to the King line. Bjugstad put it out to center. And Larmer works up the near side. Got it to Goulet over the line. Long wrist shot. Didn't get much on it. Over to the far side it goes. And Kudelski able to poke it loose. Winds up back in the Blackhawks zone. Steve Smith to Chris Chelios. His feed is picked off. And Waters puts it back into Chicago ice, but he was well short of center, and it's an icing call against the Kings, and we're down to 3 minutes left.
Kings, you can see, are getting into a tense situation. Well, every player that seems to get possession of the puck in their own zone and almost in a panic-stricken mood. They just want to clear it, make sure it gets out, and sometimes instead of making that one little pass, they're just trying to desperately get it out, make sure it gets out, and when you do that, you cough it up. And they've been doing that in the last few shifts. It sounds like they're trying to keep them positive and try and make a pass out of their zone.
Face-off will be to the left of Rudy. John McIntyre and Brent Sutter for the draw. Now they're ready, and the draw taken by the King. Huddy lifted to center. Benning put it over the hawk line. Gretzky has Kurri with him. Gretzky for Kurri, bouncing puck, and it's picked off by Chelios. Deuce Smith, whose pass deflects into the bench.
Good anticipation by Chelios. He looked quickly to his right, saying Gretzky break in on the far side. Kurri trying to catch up with the play. Gretzky looked at him, and then Chelios noticed that he was peeking at someone else, and he read it nicely and interfered with the pass. Picked it out of midair, and then the Blackhawks were unable to complete the counter play as the pass deflected just in behind the Blackhawk bench. He standing up on the bench trying to get his troops somehow motivated to finish strongly and get the equalizer from behind here and tie it up. They'll take the tie, obviously. Fifth game in 7 nights for the Blackhawks. Very tough schedule for them against some very good teams.
Kings dump it in. On the near side, they wrestle, then it's dug loose. Karjalainen got it to the line. McSorley banked it off the corner boards to Millen. He had it poke checked by Roenick. And now the Kings dig it out. Here's a shot. Shot wide. And Larmer able to clear it to center, and Hudson. Hudson trying to feed Roenick. The pass missed him. Kings put it back into the Hawk zone. We're down to 2 minutes left in period 3. 1-0. Los Angeles. Jari Kurri's power play goal. At 14:06 of the second is the only goal in the game. Robitaille over the Hawk line. Trying to center one. Taylor couldn't pull the trigger. And the Blackhawks look to start back. Roenick puts Larmer to center. He'll try to dump it in. It didn't get deep as it hit a King player, and Bjugstad comes up with it. Dumping it back behind the Chicago net. A minute and a half to go. Brent Sutter. Long feed to Brown over the line. Cuts in. Got it to Graham. Oh, and it just rolled over his stick. On the near point, Chelios across to Smith. Smith with a shot that's blocked by the sliding Bjugstad. He wants a whistle. He gets it along the boards. 69 seconds remaining.
Well, that's so typical of what's happened tonight. Every time they get a chance, something weird happens. The puck bounced right over Dirk Graham's stick. Great pass out to Brown. Brown with a pass over the stick. Sutter on the money. Good pass up the middle to Sutter. Brown deflects it over to Graham just when he's ready to pick it up and shoot on Rudy. It bounces over his stick and goes into the corner with 1:09 remaining and a timeout called by the Blackhawks. It's going to come down to a face-off. Who can win the most face-offs? Hawks looking to get a break here offensively.
The draw is going to be in the LA zone. 69 seconds left. I would imagine Belfour, the Hawks win this draw. He might come right to the bench. We'll see how the Blackhawks choose to play it.
Well, the face-off not entirely deep in the LA zone. It's halfway between the blue line and the dot, because that's where Bjugstad's blocked the shot, or Bjugstad blocked the shot and froze it. So goaltender will probably go back at least to the hash marks and to see how the face-off develops. The Hawks win and get good possession. I would imagine then Belfour will come to the bench.
Sutter, Roenick, Larmer, Chelios, and Smith on there now. And it's Gretzky, Millen, and Granato on for the Kings with Blake and McSorley. .69 ticks left. 1-0 Los Angeles. Face off to the right of Rudy.
Millen will probably try to advance it, probably try to snap it into the neutral zone on his forehand. Mike Keenan trying to get his troops in the right spot after the timeout. A little confusion here.
Harry Fraser saying, let's go here, fellas. The Hawks, well, trying to line up properly now. They get set. Millen and Sutter for the draw. And here it is. Dribbling into the slot. Everybody hacking at it. It came loose to the line. Chelios near point. Takes a look. The wrist shot is blocked to Granato. Granato clearing it out to center ice. And Millen racing after it. Cuts in on Smith. Millen centered it. Gretzky. And a save by Belfour to keep the Hawks alive. 45 seconds to go. Chelios got it to Roenick over the line. Offside is the call.
Well, that's a poor call. It looked like Sutter dragged the line and stayed onside. Chelios was going to dump it. Saw that Roenick was open. He gave it to him. And it looked like Sutter was on the line and onside. But Belfour makes the save. The Hawks did everything right on that face-off situation. Gretzky tied up Larmer. If he doesn't tie him up, Larmer's in all alone. He tried to freeze it. Then it came back to the point. Chelios' shot doesn't get through. Hits a defenseman. And then the counter play by Millen, who's been outstanding tonight, over to Gretzky. Gretzky can't get it up. Belfour slides across and keeps it a 1-0 game with 43.4 seconds left in a 1-0 contest. And Blackhawks just trying to find some way to tie it up to force it to overtime. A very valuable point here. Keenan trying to get Belfour to move out of the net so he can get to the bench in a hurry.
And the draw just outside the King line. And Belfour is standing at the Hawk blue line. Sutter and Gretzky will get ready now. And the draw is taken by the Kings. McSorley flipped it at Gretzky. He's going to dump it ahead. And now Chelios with one more rush for the Hawks to try to get the equalizer. A pass stolen at center ice. Huddy got run over by Rooney. Dumped it back into the Hawks zone. Belfour has to play it, so no icing. 20 seconds to go. Smith got it to center, and Sutter flipped it ahead. Belfour is vacated. Blake picked off the dump in, but he tried to bank it off the glass and got too much. And it wound up in the seats, but now just 11 seconds remaining.
Hawks having difficulty getting the puck into the offensive zone to get a chance, but 11.2 seconds with a face-off just inside the LA line. Rob Blake seems to be everywhere defensively tonight. He's had an outstanding game. He and Millen have been terrific for the Kings.
And the draw right at the King line now. And Belfour coming to ask whether he should come off, and yes, he will come to the Hawk bench. So 6 skaters out there.
Wayne Gretzky smells those empty nets. He's unbelievable when it comes to this situation.
He's got 5 of them this year out of the 19 that he's scored. Sutter and Millen going to square him up. Now everybody ready. Couple players have difficulty lining up on the far side. Kurri and Larmer wrestling her position. Now Smith's going to move in to take Larmer's place. Kurri won't be able to move him. Now everybody gets ready again. Here's the draw. Taken by the Kings. Gretzky's going to have another empty netter. Do you believe it? 2-0 LA. DT made the call. Wayne Gretzky has a nose for the empty net. His 20th goal of the year, his 6th empty net goal.
Hawks winning that draw, but they just overplayed it, and that's the story of the night. Everything they do seems to go wrong tonight. They won the draw, got it back. They had 2 players right there with the puck. They both misplayed it. It squirted away. Gretzky picks it up and scores it in the empty net. And
the first shutout of the year for the Los Angeles Kings. The 13th career shutout for Kelly Hrudey, and Los Angeles is back to a .500 level with their 20th win against 20 losses and 11 ties.
So the Kings achieved the shutout. They beat Chicago 2-0, and confirmation there of Wayne Gretzky's goal, an empty netter with just 3 seconds left on the clock to clinch it for the Kings. And the men from LA also had the edge in terms of shots on goal, although there was never much between the 2 teams. So our main match finished, Los Angeles 2, Chicago 0. Time now to check on developments elsewhere around the NHL. The New York Rangers travel to Minnesota, home of the North Stars, and Rangers goalie John Van Beesbroek was soon in action, making this glove save from Mike Craig. Craig, all alone right in front of the net, should have done better. But hey, credit the keeper with this one, some smart work. But he could do nothing about Mike Modano bursting through, and although Modano is tripped up by Dave Sorella, he still pokes the puck in the net. Modano's 19th of the year. It's 1-0 Minnesota. The North Stars on the power play now. Jan Eriksson breaks up the play at the blue line for the Rangers. Sergei Nemchinov gets the puck back to the wide-open Eriksson, and the Rangers draw level, short-handed. Some Rangers fans already looking ahead to the Stanley Cup. And if they get there, they'll have to thank goalie John Van Beesbroek. Brian Propp thwarted here, but when Propp gets it back to Dave Gagner, Gagner shoots, and Van Beesbroek comes up with another save. And now the goalie turns playmaker. Here he is finding Darren Turcotte off the boards. Turcotte cuts inside into the slot, and the puck flies past Darcy Wakaluk in the North Stars goal. It's 2-1 New York. Wackerluck earned his wages in the third period. Mark Messier on the breakaway, and Brave stuffed that from the keeper right out of his crease. And the North Stars come back up the ice, and Brian Propp looks certain to score until Van Beesbroek frustrates Minnesota with a superb diving save. And that outstanding save, one of 41 in the game, enabled the Rangers to leave Minnesota with a 2-1 road victory. The Rangers now unbeaten in their last 7 games. Pat Burns and his Canadians hosted the Detroit Red Wings in a battle of divisional leaders. First period, less than 6 minutes gone, and a power play goal for Montreal. Denis Savard from point-blank range, his 17th of the season. And taking another look, and Savard puts it away with ease. It's 1-0 Montreal early in the first session. Late in the first period, the Canadians increased their lead. Guy Carbonneau with his 15th of the season, and Montreal are in command after the first period. Into the second now, with the Canadians ahead 3-1. Steve Yzerman picks up the loose puck and forces it into the net to bring the Red Wings right back into it. Yzerman's 27th goal of the year. Still in the second, and the Red Wings are soaring. On the power play, Detroit draw level, and it's Yzerman again. Goal number 28, and the game's tied at 3 apiece. And Yzerman it was who helped the Red Wings go into the final section on level terms. Neither team could score in the third period, so the game went into overtime. 2 minutes and 14 seconds gone of the extra session, and Kurt Muller gets his 25th goal of the season. That ends it. It gives Montreal a 4-3 overtime victory. And for the record, that was Detroit's first overtime loss of the season. Coach Terry Murray and the Washington Capitals were looking for 2 points from the visit of the Calgary Flames, and they got the start they wanted inside 8 minutes when a wrist shot from Nick Kyprios makes its way through a crowd of players. It's 1-0 Washington. Still in the first session, and the Capitals increase their lead thanks to another wrist shot. This time, the finish to another impressive Washington attack is supplied by Peter Bondra, his 18th goal of the season, and so the Capitals lead 2-0 after the opening period of play. Into the second now, and another goal for Washington, although it's one which scorer Randy Burridge will remember very little about. Callie Hansen with the first-time shot, and it flies in off the face of poor old Randy. That goal came on the power play just seconds into the second session, and it gave Washington a 3-0 lead. Burridge, his 18th goal of the season, but it made quite a mess of poor old Randy's kisser. A perfect header this from Randy, and with a strike like that in front of the net, maybe he should take up soccer. Burridge out, but he came back. Later on in the second, Gary Roberts gets his 30th of the season to get the Flames on the scoreboard at last. Roberts with the wrist shot, and at 9:43 in the second, the Flames spot a glimmer of hope. But it was 4-1 Washington after 2, and going into the third with the score 4-2, Randy Burridge proved he was still clear-headed, putting in a power play goal on the rebound. So Burridge gets the last laugh, and the Caps get another victory. It finished 5-2 Washington over Calgary. Elvis lives. The King was in the igloo to see if the Pittsburgh Penguins could leave St. Louis feeling blue. And in the first period, with the Pens already leading 1-0, Mark Recchi found himself with a great scoring opportunity, and that's his 29th goal of the season, and also Recchi's 100th career goal. The Penguins are flying ahead 2-0, and the one-way traffic continued with Joey Mullen on the breakaway. It's 3-0 Pittsburgh inside the first 12 minutes. Mullen's 29th goal of the campaign. And they weren't finished yet. Brian Trottier here with the pass over to defenseman Larry Murphy. Murphy's 11th goal of the season gives Pittsburgh a 4-0 lead after 14 minutes and 40 seconds of the first. 4 goals and 26 shots on goal for the Penguins in that opening session. Into the second, and the Blues get one back. Jason Marshall grabbing his first career NHL goal. but that was as close as the Blues would come as goalie Tom Barrasso denied Brett Hull's shot. Barrasso did his stuff for the rest of the game, and the Penguins cruised to what proved to be a comfortable 4-1 victory. Ray Bourque at the Bruins have had one or two problems with Buffalo this season, but in front of a packed Boston Garden crowd, the Bruins drew first blood when Vladimir Ruzicka found himself all alone in front of Darren Pooper for his 28th goal. Ruzicka has a goal in 7 straight games. 47 seconds later, different player, same result. Scott O'Neill celebrates his return to the NHL. Pooper must be wondering where his teammates are. Into the second now with Buffalo on the power play. Don Sweeney loses the puck in the corner. Dave Andrechuk feeds Pat LaFontaine, and LaFontaine slips the puck through Andy Moog's legs. It's 2-1 Boston. Into the third now, and Darren Pooper goes above and beyond the call of duty, stopping Don Sweeney's shot with his lower stomach. And that one took the wind right out of Pooper's sails. But the Bruins weren't feeling too cocky either, as Donald Audette avoids the check on the boards and slips the puck past Moog. And with 4 minutes 30 seconds gone in the third, the Sabres are back on level terms. It's 2-2. Good work this from Audette. Moog with no chance. Audette's 25th goal of the year. The game went into overtime, but it fizzled out with no shots on goal in that extra session. So once again, Buffalo come back to share the points with the Bruins. It finished 2 apiece. Now let's check on the latest standings. In the Norris division, Detroit maintain a 5-point lead over Chicago, and they have 3 games in hand. No real changes here over the past 7 days. The leading 4 are all playoff bound. Vancouver continue to dominate the Smythe, but it's very interesting in the battle for playoff spots. 3 points separate the next 4 teams. In the Adams division, Montreal lead Boston by 9 points, but the Bruins have 2 games in hand. The Sabres look secure in third, but Hartford should keep an eye on Quebec. Finally, in the Patrick division, the Rangers have pulled away from Washington, but the Caps have 2 games in hand. Pittsburgh and New Jersey look playoff bound as well. Brett Hull, the St. Louis right winger, entered the NHL record books when he became the second player to twice score 50 goals in 50 or fewer games. The 50th goal in his 50th game came in the second period of the Blues' 3-3 tie with Los Angeles. The only other player to achieve the magic 50-50 is Wayne Gretzky, who achieved the feat 3 times with Edmonton. And let's hear it for old-timer Dennis Potvin. It was a special moment in the Nassau Memorial Coliseum as Potvin officially had his number retired by the New York Islanders. It's the ultimate accolade a club can bestow on one of its servants. Potvin captained the Islanders team, which won 4 straight Stanley Cups between 1980 and 1983. The French and German leagues are currently suspended, but there's still plenty of action in the UK, especially in the northeast, where the Nottingham Panthers won a wild shootout against Billingham, Alex Dampier's team winning 9-8. In the top of the table clash, Durham edged Cardiff 6-4, with victories also for Humberside and Whitley Bay. So Durham stayed top by a comfortable 8-point margin, although the Panthers in third place are starting to mount a serious challenge. And we cross the channel now to the Netherlands, where 3 games were played over the weekend. Victories for the Fordo Flyers and Nijmegen, while Utrecht and the Gunko Pandas skated to a 3-3 tie. But no change at the top, where the Agpo Trappers still hold a 4-point lead over their nearest challengers, the Meat Point Eaters. You'll be able to see the Los Angeles Kings in action once again on Screen Sport as they visit the free-scoring Pittsburgh Penguins. Face-off time 10:30 next Wednesday night here on Screen Sport. But for now, it's goodbye from